Those of you that are bringing meals, it's awesome. And unfortunately, it's too awesome. She said Billy's gained 10 pounds. This is enchiladas. He's eating them for breakfast and lunch and dinner, and it's got, when there's food, he can't not eat it, and it's kind of like, whoa. So it's good and bad, all right? He said he's never ate so good in his life. It's like, they used to, dinner would come and say, what are we going to eat now? It's like, what do you want to eat? That's awesome. Appreciate your prayers. Gosh, I appreciate them for my little granddaughter. My hearts go out to the families that are here. We appreciate you being here. We would encourage you to be a part of this family. We would love to love on you. That's what we're about. I know you people don't know this, but those of us that do this church, we do it for free. Nobody gets paid here. We do it so that we can use the money that we collect to help out families like yourselves. That's what Christianity is all about.
Amen.
And we want to live what the Bible says. So when you people give your offerings, know what it's going to. Know that it's going to something that really has some heart behind it all, okay? I want to encourage you to support our children by bringing some backpacks also. All right, God has a message for you. We're doing a series. The series is on the teaching of Jesus, and as I said last week, he hits us right between the eyes. It's kind of, Jesus is God in the flesh. And so when Jesus speaks, it's God speaking. And God's the creator of us. He's the creator of the universe. He is what holds everything together. He is the one that we're going to spend eternity with, I hope, for those of you that know him. And he has a word for us. How many of you have ever been accused of being a worrier? People tell you, man, you worry too much. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of us worry a lot. I know a lot of people that worry a lot. And when you worry a lot, that leads to stress, because you worry. And then stress leads to arguments. How many of you have arguments in your family? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Is there any hands that didn't go up? You notice my hand didn't go up? I had it behind my... You know, and when you have arguments, I can guarantee you they're over one of the following three. Your arguments are either over money, finances, bills, it can be over sex, and it can be over children. Those are usually what the argument's about. But statistics tell us that 70 to 80% of arguments in marriages or in couples relationships are over finances, over money. I mean, think of it, the two families that we just talked about. I mean, there's stress with you losing your husband, but as a result of all that, there's financial issues as a result of all that. When someone loses a baby, it's kind of like there's financial issues with all of that. It's kind of like Tisha and Billy. As a result of all that, Billy missed some work. It causes some financial issues. And when there's financial issues, it causes worry, it causes stress, and then pretty soon there's arguments going on. Well, Jesus addressed that. But you're not going to like what he said. You're not going to like what Jesus said. It's almost like, Jesus, do you even have a clue? But, I mean, he made us. He made us. You don't think somebody that made us doesn't know how we operate? So his answer is, and God, Jesus is perfect. Can't make a mistake. So it's kind of like if he has something to say, it must have some meaning. So there's a lot of verses I'm going to put in the Bible, but this one was too long, so I'm going to read it when he talks to us about worrying. So if you go to Matthew chapter 6, we're going to start with verse 25. But when you start with Matthew, as you're turning to it, Jesus says, therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life. Oh, really? Don't worry about your life. But he starts out with therefore. Now, whenever you see the word therefore, you have to find out what it's there for. And the way you find that out is to read the verse in front of it, because that's what it's referring to. So let's look at the verse in front of it, which is Matthew 6:25. Let's take a look at it and see what he says. Jesus says, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate one and love the other, or he'll be devoted to one and despise the other. You can't serve both God and money. What does he mean? What does he mean? I mean, think of this. Here's what he's saying. If you love money, then you're going to hate God. If you just pursue money all the time, you're going to despise God. That's what he's saying. But he's saying, if you love God, then you're not going to care about money. If you love God and follow God, money is going to be way more irrelevant to you, is basically what this is saying. So he goes on now to say, therefore, because of this, because of the fact you can't serve, you can't just be spending your life wanting money, material things. Because when you do that, God's in the background. God's in the background. So because of that, therefore, because of this, here's what he says. I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They don't sow or reap or store away in barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valuable than they? Who of you, by worrying, can add a single hour to your life? Now, Jesus must be saying this because the people that, his disciples and the people around, must have been worrying about that kind of stuff. And Jesus wasn't worried about that. In fact, one of the men came to Jesus and said, Jesus, I want to follow you. I want to be your disciple. Like a lot of you would say, I want to be your disciple, Jesus. If I asked how many wanted to be your disciple, a lot of you would raise your hand. So this man came to Jesus and said, I want to be your disciple. And Jesus says, great, great, but know this. I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. So the Son of Man doesn't know where he's going to lay his head. I'm just doing ministry. God will provide. God will provide. I don't even know where I'm going to sleep. I don't know where I'm going to get my next meal. These are the only clothes I have right now. But you can follow me. Come on with me. And then when he sent his disciples out, he told them, now I'm going to send you out now. Like sheep among wolves. You're going to go out there, but don't take anything with you. Just go on your own, trusting that God will take care of you. That's what he's saying. And what he's saying is, if God cares about the birds, you don't think he doesn't care about us? And he says, worrying is not going to add a day to your life, but does worrying subtract days from your life? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Worrying, when my son went through that whole ordeal of his, going to prison, I'll guarantee you, I know I lost a year of my life. Just from worrying and stress and everything else, it was just kind of like, ah. And people saw it in me. It's kind of, you okay, Jim? You okay? And I may say yes, but underneath it's like, no, I'm not okay. My son's going to prison for 8 years. No, I'm not okay. So how could Jesus tell us not to worry? It's kind of like, wow. Unless he's talking about something different. Let me go on. Well, why do you worry about clothes? See how the lilies in the field grow? They don't labor or spin. Yet I tell you that even Solomon in all his splendor wasn't dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow thrown in a fire, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? So do not worry. Here we go again. Saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things, and your heavenly Father knows you need them. And he says, but seek first his kingdom, his righteousness, then all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. In other words, you have enough to think about today. Don't be worrying about tomorrow. So he's not saying that there's nothing to worry about. He's not saying there's nothing to worry about. He said there's enough today. Don't be thinking about tomorrow. But what he's saying here is the necessities. What we really need, not what we want, what we really need, God promises He will take care of us. He promises us that. There's some issues here that we're going to talk about here that we have that cause things to be a little bit out of whack. You ever notice that the more you have, the more there is to worry about? If you don't have a savings account, you don't worry about the stock market going up or down. If you don't have IRAs or Roths or whatever the heck they're called, you don't worry about the stock. You don't even look at the stock market. But if you got money in them, you're constantly looking, oh my gosh, it went down another 3 points today. But if you don't have money there, you don't think about that. If you don't have money in the savings, you don't have a clue what the interest rate is, and you can care less what the interest rate is. But if you got money in the bank and they're telling you, man, the interest rate just went down to 1.2, and you go, oh my God, I might as well just keep the cash under my bed. Not gaining anything by having it in the bank. It's just more. It's like a vehicle. When you have a vehicle with all those gadgets on it, it's kind of like just more things to go wrong. You don't know how to fix. I can remember I had a nice vehicle when I was in the world. I had one of those Cadillac Escalades. It probably flew for all I know. There were so many buttons there that I had no clue what they were. And every once in a while I hit the wrong button and things would be going on. I'd shut the vehicle off and started thinking maybe it would go away, and it didn't go away. And it's like my lights are on bright and I'm going down the freeway. Why are they on bright? And it's kind of like, I don't know what buttons to push. And I can remember just driving my old 56 Ford that had nothing but plugs, points, and a condenser in it. And I knew how to change all 3 of those things. Didn't have to worry about anything else. So it just seems like the more we have, the more there is to worry. The less we have, the less there is to worry. So let's keep looking here. Let's keep looking here. Let's go to James chapter 4. Let's look at what he has to say. James chapter 4, verses 13 through 15. Got it there, Frank? Here we go. Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow we're going to go do this, that city, we're going to spend a year there, we're going to carry on business, we're going to make money, all these plans. Why, you do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then poof, it vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if it is the Lord's will, we will live and do this and do that. Don't we sometimes make big plans and we don't even ask God? We don't even talk to God. We just make these plans. And we don't even talk to God. And God says, you may not even be around tomorrow. And you're making all of these plans. Have you ever met someone on their deathbed worrying about their material things? I have never yet visited someone on their deathbed talking about their savings account. Or, you know what they're talking about? Their family. They're talking about people. They're talking about God. That's what they're talking about. That may be why Jesus says, love God, and then those other things aren't as important. But if you keep chasing those other things, then God gets put in the background. And Jesus, who knows who we are, is saying, don't go that way. Don't go that way. Let's look at Psalm, the Old Testament, Psalm 39. Way back then, he would say, you have made my days a mere handbreadth, the span of my years as nothing before you. Each man's life is but a breath. My life seems so important, and what God is saying is your life is just, it's here today. Those of you that are as old as I am, didn't you like Dave? He's got a couple on. Just a couple. Just a couple. Iron Man, I could run circles around this. Isn't life just gone? It's like, I'm taking my granddaughter to the same park that I took her mom to. Going down the same slide, and it seems like yesterday. It seems like yesterday that I was taking her down that same slide, pushing her in that same swing, and now here it's the granddaughter. Just poof, it's just gone. So why worry about tomorrow when today is worth living? Today is worth living, even for someone as like what you're going through here. And I know that it's painful, but what God is saying is, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. So even if I would have lost my little granddaughter, oh, the pain would have been unbearable. But when I follow Jesus, like I'm doing, then I can accept it knowing that there's a purpose for everything. And we think of death as so final. And yet here's telling us it's just a breath. It's just a breath. We have to look at that little one that's with Jesus. With Jesus. Oh my God. Where would you rather be? At the picnic or with Jesus? With God. With God. That entity, whatever it is, that spoke this world into existence, that little, is it a girl? That little girl's with that. Your husband is going to soon be with him. It's going to be, if he knows Jesus. And if he doesn't, boy, be talking to him about it. Don't worry about tomorrow. Be telling him today about Jesus. Be telling him about Jesus so that he knows that he's going to, and God promises you, I know what you need. You follow me. I know what you need. If I take care of the birds and I take care of the lilies in the field, you don't think that he doesn't care about you and your children? Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. That's why he's giving you collision. That's why he's giving you collision. So that people that are working hard and being blessed financially are being able to give to the offering to help out people like you that don't have it. That's what Christianity is all about. That's what God's all about. That's why God says, don't worry. I know it's easier said than done. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6. Here's what he says here. Godliness with contentment is great gain. I'll leave it there for a while. Godliness, following God and being content with what you have is great gain. That's what it's all about. Let's read on. For we brought nothing into the world, and we can take nothing out of the world. You can't take anything with you. You came in, that little baby of mine came in with nothing. No clothes, no nothing. Just came into the world, and that's how it's going to leave. With nothing. With nothing. Can't take anything with you. Can't take anything with you. And then some of us worry about making more money. Worry about, and then Jesus, your life is just breath. Follow me. Follow me is what he's saying. Was there more to that one, or is that the end of it? Pardon? There's more? Okay. So you're addressing it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. If you have food and clothing, be content with that. Is that it? Okay, but that's it for Timothy. I think that's the key right here. I'm going to come back to that. Okay, let's read Hebrews, last one, and then I want to share some stuff with Hebrews 13. How's this? Keep your lives free from the love of money. And be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. Here's the problem. Here's the problem, and I see it all the time. Here's the reason you worry. All right, especially about money. And remember what I said, that 70%, 80% of our worrying and our arguments are over finances. How are we going to pay our bills? Well, I see that in the prayer requests. Prayer requests are constantly filled with that kind of stuff. Here's one of the reasons. We live beyond our means. We live beyond our means. We want stuff. So credit cards are maxed out. Years ago, when the whole financial market went belly up, because people that owned homes refinanced stuff, took all that, what they thought was free money, refinancing their home and getting $100,000 out of their home and go, oh my goodness, $100,000. Let's go get a boat. Let's go get a skidoo. Let's go. Do we need a skidoo? I don't know. What's a skidoo? I guess you can tell I don't have one. People were buying things that they didn't need. They were buying things that they didn't need. How many people, I see this all the time, I'm going into a store and I'm seeing someone with a cart full of stuff and then giving a credit card. And then they run the credit card, it's no good. Oh, that's no good. Oh, all right. And they walk, and I look at everything in there and I'm looking and say, did he or she really need all that? And I bet you if I ask them what's in there, they go, oh, I'm not sure what's all in there. We live beyond our means. And here's why. Here's why. Some of you that are well off look at movie stars and rock stars and athletes and go, oh my gosh, look what they got. Look, you ever see on TV they show the homes that they have? And you go, gosh, it's a mansion. Would I love to have that? And then the person that's renting a little apartment looks at your house and goes, oh, would I love to have that? And then the homeless person looks at your rental and goes, oh, would I love to have that? And then the children in India living on the street look at the homeless people and go, oh, they get to eat every day. Oh, would I love to be like them? It's all relevant. It's all relevant. Not very many of us in here, homeless people included, have an issue with losing too much weight. Oh, I haven't eaten for so long, look how skinny I am. Most of us, myself included, have the other problem. Oh, how do I keep from eating so darn much? Right? And yet we worry because we don't have a bedroom for each child. We worry because we only got one car. We worry about things that maybe aren't as important as we thought. Why? Because we look at what we want, not at what we need. We look at what we want and not at what we need. What do you need? You need enough food. Do you know how little food you really need? I tell people all the time, they say, well, I'm exercising now, I'm going to lose weight. I say, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to lose any weight until you start cutting back on your eating. I know, because I do this I'll share with some this morning, I do this bicycle thing 3 days a week for a half hour, and it's like some of it's mountain, and then I stand up every, and then at the end it shows you how many calories you burnt. And I looked at it, that's not even one candy bar. That's one enchilada. And I just killed myself for a whole half hour, and I'm sweating like crazy, and I'm looking at that thing, all I burnt. It's amazing how little food we really need. And how much better would you feel if you ate right? Whenever I eat too much, I'm trying to get in shape now, okay? Whenever I eat too much, I'm just kind of like, ugh. I take my granddaughter to the park and I'm looking for a place to sit down. And then when I eat right, come on, Josephine, let's go! And my little feet are trying to keep up to me. Just by eating right. And then our clothing. Does it really make any difference? I remember we went to marriage encounter when we were first married. And it was really intense to build relationships. And I remember them sharing one time when we were in there. They were saying, we are so focused on one another and all that, you could have 2 different color socks on and nobody would have noticed. Because they weren't looking at that. They were looking at the person. They were looking at the person, not what you wore. When you are happy, when you're not worried, and you're content, oh, you're a joy to be around. You're a joy to be around. And people don't care if you dress weird with orange clothes. Want me to get back at them, right? Seriously though, I mean, when Dave is loving on you afterwards, and he's asking you and caring about you like he did when he was asking you about Eduardo today, were you looking at his clothes? Maybe you did when he walked up to you, but after that it was kind of like, it didn't make any difference anymore. It was the person. It was the person that was important, not what you were wearing. So that's why I think Jesus says all of this. I think Jesus says all of this because if you have food and you have clothes and you have a place to live, be content. Be content. Because here's what Jesus said, that's all I had. That's all I had. That's all my disciples had. We were content with what we had because we had more important things. Seek first His kingdom. And God knows what you need. He also knows what you want. He's not going to just give you what you want. Think of this, a young child. A young child. If I gave Josephine everything she wanted, how good would that be? No. If I'd said, Josephine, what do you want to eat today? Do you think she'd say, oh, give me some broccoli and some brown rice? No, it's a grilled chicken, not fried, grilled. Oh, ice cream, cookies, calories. It's not what you want, it's what you need. And when you have a child that you love, you give that child what they need, not what they want. Well, what do you think God does? He gives His children what they need, not what they want. We all want to win the lottery. We all want that big house. We all want that nice fancy vehicle. But do we need it? Do you need it? I'll guarantee you, you go after those things and God will be put in the background. How do I know that? Because His Word told us that. Therefore, because you can't love both God and money. You can't be seeking money, material things, and seeking God at the same time. Jesus said, it don't work. It don't work. It just doesn't work. Seek first His kingdom. How do you seek His kingdom? By caring about people here that are going through things that are way worse than what you are. That's why I loved what Judy Thomas a couple weeks ago when she was here. Judy Thomas is fighting for her life. Got cancer. And boy, Dave was having a hard time with her. He just kind of, oh. She is up here laying hands on people, praying for people. When you do that, do you think about yourself then? Oh, no. You're seeking God. I'm going to be talking to the homeless people here pretty soon in a message. And this is what I'm going to teach those homeless people that I'm going to talk to. You don't have it so bad. Not as bad as you think. You want to find joy in your life? Start putting people ahead of you. Start putting people ahead of yourself, even though you don't have anything. Even though you don't have anything, you start putting people ahead of yourself and watch and see what God does. Watch and see what God does. You watch and see what Jesus does. Oh, he'll take worry out of your life. He'll take worry out of your life. Why? Because you're putting other people first. That's what it's all about, people. I can close this book and I'll tell you, here's how you don't worry about yourself. You start worrying about somebody else. Then all of a sudden, your problems don't seem so bad. I'll guarantee you, as bad as your problems are, you keep looking, and I'll guarantee you, you're going to find somebody way worse than what you are. Always can. They're very easy to find when you're out there looking. Very easy to find when you're out there looking. But when you start looking and start serving like Jesus did, remember what Jesus said? You want to be great in my kingdom? Remember Jesus said, you want to be perfect? He said the same thing. You want to be great in my kingdom? Then learn to be the servant of everybody. Learn to serve. Learn to put people ahead of yourself. Now you're great in my kingdom. He says, you want to be perfect? Remember what he said? You want to be perfect? What did he tell you to do? Get rid of all your material things. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It loads you down. Get rid of it. And then you got time now to spend with me. Because you're not working on that third vehicle that needs brakes. You're not painting that fifth bedroom that no one's sleeping in that needs to be painted. You're not mowing that big backyard that nobody plays in. Maybe we just want things and don't need them. Today has enough things to be concerned about. Don't even think about tomorrow. How hard is that though, huh? Not easy, is it? Not easy, is it? And yet, you think Jesus knows what he's talking about? He knows. He knows. Got a lot to worry about, don't you? Got a lot to worry about. Is worrying doing any good? Not doing a bit of good, is it? No? You got enough things to worry about. You got enough concerns today to not even think about tomorrow. Just worry about, not worry, just look at the things today. And then tomorrow will take care of itself. It may not even be here tomorrow. That's what Jesus is telling us. That's what Jesus is telling you. Okay? Don't worry about tomorrow. Live for today, whatever it is that God has given you, and I'll guarantee you, you're going to have food when you go home tonight. You're going to probably have food, maybe not as much as other people, but you're going to have food when you go home tonight. You're going to have clothes when you go home tonight, and you're going to have a roof over your head. And Jesus is saying, be content with that. Be content with that. Jesus said, you don't think that I don't care about you? You don't think that Jesus doesn't care about? We care about you as people. We're imperfect. Imperfect. Jesus is perfect, looking at you right now and saying, you don't think that I don't care about you? Oh, I care about you. I got you in my arms. I got you in my arms. I know it seems like the end of the world. It's not. Not if we put our trust in Jesus. We just got to keep looking at Jesus. We just got to keep looking at him as the source of our strength. And then Jesus gives you people, gives you a soul in them that loves you to death. Can't say the same for Carlos, I don't know. I'm just kidding. Gives you people like that. Gives you people like Jamie. That's connected to other people. Have I ever met your husband?
No.
Have I ever met your friend? We haven't. We care. Why? Because Jesus is a part of our life. We're seeking his kingdom. And as a result of all that, he gives us this incredible love for people that we don't even know. That's what life's about. We're going to pray for you. We promise that we're going to pray for you. And I'm going to tell you what Jesus told you. Don't worry. He'll take care of you. Just have that faith to believe that. Not easy. Not easy. But worth pursuing, because Jesus knows what he's talking about. He knows. You just have to do it, okay? Let's get the worship team.